Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Got a few topics to discuss with you in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. Starting with this one from the Crypto Basic. Top DNA scientist says XRP is not meant to make you rich. Well, folks, I wish somebody would have told me that 6 years ago. Damn it. Okay. I got a few things to say about that. It's interesting. Then there's this from the Crypto Basic. Ripple lead product manager says the upcoming XRP Ledger automated market maker could bolster XRP utility. Yes, we're talking about an increase in XRP utility, and this is actually coming from, excuse me, folks, a Ripple employee. And then I have a response from Attorney John Deaton on this topic, actually. And also want to share with you the latest because the SEC has delayed a couple more spot Bitcoin ETFs. This is not something to be fearful over. I personally still believe that the answer is ultimately going to be yes, and we'll talk about why. But just getting you the latest. Before going further, though, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so this is like the worst day of my adult life. I just found out today from the Crypto Basic that XRP is not meant to make me rich. What have I been doing these last 6 years? Damn it! Right. Check this out. In a recent tweet, Australian DNA scientist Horace Drew contended that while XRP could make investors affluent, its primary purpose goes beyond that. In particular, Drew argued that people investing in XRP should not expect to become wealthy by merely holding the digital asset. According to the scientist, the purpose of XRP is not to make you rich. I gotta tell you, like, I fully intend for XRP to make me quite wealthy. I'll just say it like that. And yeah, that's not my own crypto holding where I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably gonna be notching me up there, right? But to think that XRP couldn't do that, where do you think this thing's going? Because I'll tell you this, if XRP is going to have long-term viability, it can't flutter around at this price forever. It would ultimately, in a mature market, end up with a market cap. Wouldn't you surmise or speculate that it's probable that it would ultimately have a market cap in the trillions of dollars? Because I'm just telling, if that comes to pass, then anybody that is listening and holding XRP now compared to what that would mean price-wise in the future would have made an insane multiplier effect. So then it just gets down to the question of, did it make you rich? Did you put in more than $5? You know? So we'll see what happens. But you guys know where I stand on this. It's, saying it since the beginning of this YouTube channel. Utility matters and will win the day. It'll probably be a Wednesday. But here was the actual post from him. He wrote, the purpose of XRP is not to make you rich, although that will be a useful side effect. Its purpose is to block a great reset planned by Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, who wish to tyrannize and imprison us all. A decentralized, anonymous world currency will make that impossible. And then he's got a laughy emoji, so I'm not entirely sure how much of that was meant to be taken seriously, but it's in crypto media. So I just want to note here, even though you're not going to find somebody who's more pro-XRP than me, and yes, Klaus Schwab is effectively a Bond villain, I understand all of this. And also like just a striking resemblance to an actual turtle. But setting that aside, XRP was literally just designed to be a better version of Bitcoin. So whatever you think the initial purpose of Bitcoin is, like, XRP would be in line with that. And that's not me speculating. I mean, David Schwartz has articulated as much. And not that it couldn't be more than Bitcoin. Obviously, with the functionality that he has, and it has an incredible tech, especially for the time, compared to Bitcoin, it is positioned for payments, just broadly speaking. Now, as far as what that would mean, it's not like David Schwartz and the other couple creators knew exactly what that would mean in terms of actual adoption in a more mature market as time passes. Of course not. But David Schwartz has publicly stated on at least one occasion that I've seen that they broadly thought that XRP would be great for payments. And this is at a time when, they didn't, like, Ripple didn't exist, first of all. And then, like, even when Ripple existed, they didn't know what exactly they were going to do with XRP. They had some ideas, but it took years to kind of get a plan in place that they found actually would have some sort of, product market fit that was sufficient, and then actually put it in action. So that's what actually occurred. So this whole thing, while interesting, seems, no offense to the individual here, bit of hyperbolic. It's like XRP is a digital currency. I mean, you start go too far in that direction, you start to lose me. But yes, it's a better Bitcoin, folks. And do you think, like, if you look at where Bitcoin is, do you not think that XRP is going to continue to move in tandem? Might there be incredible opportunity there? Because I know that XRP already has made a ton of people rich, in particular when it ran up to its all-time high at the beginning of 2018. And I firmly believe that there's going to be a lot more people that get wildly wealthy from it. I'm not going to make a price prediction, but I genuinely believe that is probable. I also think that a lot of people aren't, because you know how living retail speculators behave. When this thing starts right, like, so they're not buying it now, they're not paying attention while it's around 60 cents, but then as it approaches $10, should that occur, who do you think's going to be FOMOing in? Because this is how every asset ultimately gets treated. Whatever's hot at the moment, they want to get a piece of it too, but by the time everybody's doing it, and your grandma knows about it, and your grandpappy, it's too late. Just saying here. And then there's this. Ripple lead product manager says the upcoming XRP ledger automated market maker could bolster XRP utility. The upcoming automated market maker on the XRP ledger could help bolster more need and utility for XRP, according to Jasmine Cooper, lead product manager at Ripple. Cooper made these remarks while speaking with Eddie, a prominent YouTuber and XRP community figure, in a recent interview. Eddie had raised a question pertaining to the likelihood of the automated market maker affecting XRP's tokenomics when it officially launches on the XRP ledger. And she said, quote, this coming of new DeFi products, particularly the automated market maker, is it going to change at all the tokenomics of XRP? End quote. Which I think was a great question. And then ultimately she said in response to this, and I quote, I think it was down here, as we see growth and adoption, I think we'll just see a greater need and greater utility of the token itself. And so bottom line, she's saying something that I think is just obvious at this point. There's actual utility of XRP. So you can call it a utility token. That's perfectly fine. There are a number of ways you could classify it. Sure, that's fine. But certainly utility here. So, but it doesn't change the actual tokenomics. And the answer ultimately was not really. No, she didn't see a way that it actually would. And I do encourage you guys to check out that video from Crypto Eddie. It goes on for about 18 minutes. I watched it this morning, and it's fantastic. And I always like watching, great to have her interviewing people because she always asks thoughtful questions. But it's always great on top of that to get perspective from people working at Ripple and specifically doing things to harness the power of the XRP ledger and XRP itself and to make it long-term viable. I always appreciate insight from such people. Now, here's what Attorney John Deaton had to say. He shared this clip from Crypto Eddie, and he wrote, the thing that drove me nuts was that a few career securities lawyers would argue XRP is a security. I would always counter with, anything can be marketed, packaged, and sold as a security, including XRP. But it doesn't make the asset itself one. To me, the SEC's complaint alleging XRP sold anywhere, anytime, in any manner was, is, and always will be a security was the most gross example of overreach I had ever seen. The complaint even went into the future, for God's sake, and said if a foreign country adopts XRP as a currency, it will still be a security because of Ripple's efforts. It was mind-blowing that other, more experienced securities lawyers didn't see it like I did. I think it was because they didn't mind who the government was going after. That is a dangerous position to take. We can't turn a blind eye to government overreach just because we don't like the defendant. XRP is a utility token at its core. He was sharing that quote from the video from Crypto Eddie. And then it says, this was the simple logic that made me so confident Judge Torres would make it clear XRP itself is not a security. She followed the law. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, and it's so obvious. We only had this trouble here in the United States. But even if you look over in the UK, XRP was defined by the government as a utility token by the FCA. What's it stand? Financial Conduct Authority, right? Yes, everybody under the sun could see it except for Jay Clayton and Kim Jong-Gensler and the rest of the hellspawns that work over at the SEC. And then we have this from CoinDesk. SEC delays decisions on Franklin Templeton and Global X spot Bitcoin ETFs. Decisions on approvals for both Franklin Templeton's and Global X's spot Bitcoin ETF applications have been delayed by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, according to a just-released note. The deadline for the SEC to move on Franklin Templeton was today, and on Global X's attempt was November 21st. With these delays, the new deadlines move into early 2024. Few had expected any spot Bitcoin ETF approvals this week, so the SEC's action comes as little surprise. Bitcoin is trading at blah, 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 and the rest doesn't matter. So this isn't a surprise. This isn't some sort of horrendous negative. This doesn't change my outlook personally in terms of the idea of multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs getting approved. And by the way, the approval still can come sooner. So yes, they went forward with a delay for these two specifically. And the furthest that they can delay the BlackRock one, I believe, is March at some point of next year. But even though there's a delay, they can still approve sooner. So it doesn't mean we can't get an approval this year, just to be clear. That actually is still in the cards. That certainly could happen here. And this is something that'll give you a little bit of hope here. Check this out. Because there is markedly different behavior for those interacting with the SEC than what had been seen in the past. This is a very good sign. So here's the headline from the Daily Huddle. Something's changed. ARK Invest's Cathie Wood says odds of the SEC approving a spot Bitcoin ETF have shot up. ARK Invest founder and CEO Cathie Wood says that the odds are now better that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission will approve a spot market Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. In a new Yahoo Finance interview, Wood says that the SEC is, for the first time, starting to engage with spot Bitcoin ETF applicants. Wood has submitted an application in partnership with 21 Shares. So she got skin in the game here, but also makes it so that she's a little bit more in the know than your typical person. But here's a quote from her. Check this out. And this is very confidence-inspiring. Well, something has changed. So we had put in a number of times a filing, and we were just denied, never got any questions really, never got any response. This time, this summer, we got questions back from the SEC. Now, normally, when you get questions from the SEC, you're just saying, oh my goodness, we were thrilled to get questions back because it means they're engaged now. Now we have met a number of the research people at the SEC on the research side, and they're extremely sophisticated. They know what they're talking about, and the level of sophistication of their questions suggested, okay, now they're moving deeply into this. And we answered those questions. We have not heard back. That's a good sign too. They never tell you that you've satisfied them. But if you don't hear from them, that usually means that you have satisfied the answers to the requests. So that was new. And we also know that BlackRock has questions. We put our answers in first. I think that they have followed, and I'm not sure about anyone else. Something has changed. That's good. The odds for approval have gone up. End quote. So there you go, folks. That's her perspective. And she's a bit more in the nitty-gritty of this than the rest of us, let's say. It's just a matter of time. And look, I recognize that it may be the case that it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. Maybe the news hits and price plummets immediately, although my guess would be that if we're going to see a price plummet, you'd probably see a lot of excitement and you'd see the market rocket up first and then see a tank to the downside, if that's going to happen. But even if so, I personally don't care, because I think the implications, like I've been saying for some time, the reason this is going to be so impactful is because the amount of money that will flow in over a span of years and really so more along the line of decades, it's hard to overstate the amount of money that's going to flow in and what that does to the actual supply and demand dynamics for Bitcoin, and then what that means for the impact on the broader asset class. So even if you're not interested in Bitcoin per se, so what? You should still care about this news. You should care about this happening because it's a positive factor. Now, I'm not so convinced it's the panacea that a lot of people are making it out to be in the short term, but over the longer term, yeah, why wouldn't it be? Because if you think it's not going to be over a very long period of time, do you actually think that BlackRock and the rest of them, once they get these products approved, their products are just going to fail? That's it? It doesn't work? I just don't believe that. We'll see what happens, though. I just think it's cool news. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.